welcome to the Drift Militia podcast. Your host, John Jones and Brandon Harstead. We're just here to party.
That's a clean entry. I like that one.
It's a no hydro entry, bro.
Right.
It's a little manji.
Next time we need to get a hydro in there for me. I got to compensate where I can.
All right.
This episode, we're going to be focusing on the community, and it's our interactions with the community, I could say, and then how we're going to, I guess, see our future interactions, which is always different because the growth of a platform with a community, how you focus on it is a little weird.
Yeah.
We kind of started with our blooper episode talking about our interactions with just ride-alongs. Now it's something we've started to get a little better with.
Yeah, I mean, originally I think it's just like...
Ride-alongs are awkward.
Yeah.
We can kind of segue into that. I don't like giving ride-alongs because...
I don't like hooking somebody's seatbelt up.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't like... I don't know. I need to be better about it because I know that's like the biggest community interaction we can have.
Yeah, it's for me, it's really hard because I have to explain to everyone that gets in the car, hey, if you hear me randomly talking, I'm talking to Brandon.
That is the worst.
And
what?
And they think they completely forget about that. So I'm like, are you ready? And they're like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready too. Brandon, are you ready? Like that's a really weird. And then the hooking up thing. And I do agree with you. I think we need easier seatbelts to hook up.
I never said that.
In the blooper episode you did. But having Julian helps that out a lot.
I think some quick cam locks and
I had really cheap cam locks in my S13 I built one time. Maybe that's it.
I like the race equip one is in the Chaser.
Yeah, race equips. We got to find a color combo that works.
It's a seatbelt.
I know.
The color doesn't have to work. It just has to keep it safe.
It's a seatbelt. I'm wearing these cheap black shoes, and you're over here styling out in your Nikes. You know.
We got Adidas.
Yeah, but your color combos working with your shirt and everything.
All day I dream about sliding. Adidas.
Wait, what? I don't get it. Over my head.
Adidas. All day I dream about sliding.
Oh, look at that, man. On the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on a different wavelength. I'm over here just picking up rocks on the side of the road. I think we need to just do that on the next builds. I don't really care about replacing my ones on the car.
This sucks compared to our blooper podcast.
Oh, we can roll with it. I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of just winging it thing. But the whole...
Back to the community, though. Our community interaction, where you started before, was like, has it been for the good or the bad? And I guess all of it is for the good, right? Because no matter what, no matter how anybody envisions you as a person, Drift Militia as a team, me as a person, we're still here to help people out. We're still going to help you out regardless. So,
and I think that's a lot of like the hometown hero thing. It's really hard to do in your local area because no matter how much you help, whether it's like parting out cars, right? Getting a nice car, bringing it in here and parting it out and providing parts for the community. I mean, someone's going to see that as a negative thing. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to navigate through the community like that. But giving ride-alongs, doing the community drift car, like putting effort towards the community, I think you're right. It's for the better.
And really, I guess one way to give back to is like to kind of expose the way some of these people drift with bare minimum. Like we've talked about it a little bit in the last podcast.
Have you read our
that comment on there
on Instagram? We're reading that driving up here. I mean, there's people that can absolutely make it happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great way for the community car to happen because we've talked about this for a while about moving scrub tires over so people can drive for free. I mean, if we have a community drift car that people can drive and they're on our scrubs, it lasts.
Yeah, everything's free.
Which is
and then maybe the S14 SR car becomes a community car too, and then we just have two community cars.
Yeah.
And then all you got to do is build an S15, and then we can have S13, S14, S15, S15.
S15, yes. Maybe in the future.
Or maybe I'll just do like a R35 and you can just take over the S15.
Be spicy.
Just kidding.
No, I'm with that. Let's do that. I don't have to spend any money. I'm game for that. The
community S15 car?
I mean, who knows? I mean, it really, with growth, I mean, you look at giveaway cars, right? With growth, it happens. Like it's attainable and it's something that you can do it. Community interactions help boost that. You get a better following. And that's weird. Julian and I were talking about this on the way over here about like how to figure out algorithms, because algorithms help communities grow.
Yeah.
Because, like, if we're starting our podcast and we have 50 views and then we figure out the algorithm, now we have 2,000 views and then we figure out that algorithm. Is that algorithm pay to play?
Maybe. I mean, ultimately, the more people that do like, comment, share. I mean, I've had people tell me they like listening to our podcast, but there was no proof of them doing it, which is, I'm not calling you a liar, but for us to grow and help y'all grow further, whether it's in drifting or building cars or, whatever you want to do, we need that support from y'all. And it's free support. We're not asking for y'all to buy merch or pay for our builds or anything like that. We just need the social media side support of liking, commenting, sharing, showing your buddies, whatever.
And I think it's easier because the whole idea of the rebranding to the militia is showing our personalities. I feel like it's easier for people to buy in, want to support if they see our personalities. I mean, Snapchat has been great for me because I've been able to show my personality through the daily vlogs. Kind of gets kind of creepy sometimes when people can tell me everything about my life, but that's understanding growth and understanding.
That's really weird because I'm pretty much out of the social media spotlight as a personality, and people still know a lot of stuff about me, and I'm just like,
oh, I tell everyone about you, just like, I'm just kidding.
I was getting my haircut yesterday, and somebody was like, "Whose green car is that?" I was like, "Oh, it's mine." And somebody getting their haircut poked their head around, was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen that car, and you saw Barry just got his car back from paint." And Barry has a R32 GTR, and I was just like, "Yeah, his car's sick."
It's cool getting recognition, like, when people, it's weird to like put yourself out there and then get recognition back.
Yeah.
So that's where our growth is heading, though. I think that's why this podcast is going to be very, and like I said, maybe be pay to play. Maybe I throw some money in advertising and, expand that, because I've always hate like pay to play, like the app phone games, for example.
And I feel like that's like where most of the big, like, social media, like every time there's a new social media, if you get on it soon enough, whether it be TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or Zanga or whatever it was, if you get in on it soon and then either do that pay to play or just play the cards just right, it's like boom, you get all this growth, and then everybody else hops in later, and you don't get any kind of growth because that ship is kind of already sailed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's all pay to play or.
I mean, it might be, but see, and I think that's where pay to play works for us to our advantage, is because we're paying to play in a different way, right? We're building ties with the community. I'm building a community to drift car. We're giving ride-alongs.
Building 2 pro cars for no reason.
Yeah, but it's like we're investing our money into exposure, but also showing people that our whole episode last time was attainability.
And I wish we would have done this from the beginning when we just had our stock Z's, because if people would have been able to see that growth and not just see what we have now, it would have been like, holy crap, I can do it too. Like, because you talk about 2 $5,000 drift cars, which is still kind of expensive in the scheme of things. When you're talking, maybe not 5,000 is probably a pretty realistic budget to get into drifting, affordably.
Yeah. Now I'm starting to lean towards more of buying someone's drift car.
Yeah.
Like it's hard because you have to fix so much stuff that's been.
But you also have to come up with a lump sum at the front.
Well, Z's, I don't know what the next move is.
Z's, Miatas.
Right? Yeah, but it used to be with the Z. I mean, you sold yours for what?
$7,800.
Yeah, and that guy jumped in it and drove it for a year everywhere.
Drove it to Minnesota. Drove it 17 hours.
Wow.
Home.
Wow.
Met him at the airport and was like, man, I think we came back to the shop and adjusted the seat because he's super tall. And
did he fly in here?
He flew into Lawton, yeah.
I didn't know you could fly in Lawton.
Yeah, what do you mean? It's the airport, bro.
I didn't know there was. I mean, I thought there was
it
like
might be a little bitty plane, but it's still an airport.
I knew there was a military airport. I didn't know there was actually a civilian
Lawton
airport.
Regional. Right there.
Yeah,
we
'cause
can
in my
watch
head, I was like,
planes.
you flew all the way to Oklahoma City and drove all the way over here.
Yeah, Lawton.
Yeah, I mean, but that's, you look at attainability, I mean, and just overall doable. I mean, yeah, it would have been a lot better if we started out, right? Like, because we could show our growth. But now we're showing our growth because I guess we're building pro cars. It wasn't intended.
You told me to.
I know, but it was kind of like
a pro car.
It was like a sweet. I can watch this thing happen. I was like, this is great. I can help out. I mean, I don't have to spend money. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, how am I going to tandem with you if you make 800 horsepower?
I'll turn the boost down.
We know that will never happen. You'll turn the boost down one time, and then we'll be driving. You're like, and then I'm like, okay, this sucks.
You're getting too close.
Yeah. So.
Anti-door button.
Yeah, and then now I guess we're gonna roll with this, and we're gonna make.
Two of the dopest S chassis around.
It's gonna be wild.
What are you building? I mean, everybody who follows pretty much probably knows.
Yeah, so the S4. I'm trying to even think how the S14 started. How did? I saw a bunch of cool S14s. You bought your S14.
I did.
You bought your S14, and I was like,
car.
I want to buy an S14. So I said, okay, cool. I traded a G37 because I was gonna do a manual swap on a Q50. I traded that, got
that black car.
got the black one, had a little bit of rust on it. Decided this is not for me. I don't want to cut all this up. I'm gonna find a non-sunroof car, and then I turned around and bought a sunroof car because it was a great deal. And I was like, this is even better because it's already stripped and they've done a bunch of work to it. And then I bought a non-sunroof car because I thought that would be the easiest way. And then I realized I've already done a bunch of fab work on this one, so let's do it. And then I think you already had your S15.
Yeah, I had my S15 for 2 years almost.
I think this is whenever you committed that you're like, all right,
I'm 1.5 years, yeah.
I think you bought the whole Part Shop Max catalog at this point.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do some things. I said, what are you going to keep these?
Well, the goal with the S15 was just to make a clean street car, drift car. And then I bought the full PBM catalog, and you were like, you really should build a pro car. And I'm like, well,
I don't think I pushed the pro car. It was until you bought you finished, like the JZX was almost done. Because the JZX was like, oh, this is your clean car.
Yeah.
Because that car's perfect. I mean, especially now you did the turbo swap. It's perfect. And then I pushed you to build a pro car. I don't know why.
You were just like, you could do the FD thing.
Yeah, I think it's because I like managing stuff. And I was like, okay, well, I could kind of help do the managing a track side for like Pro-Am and stuff like that. I've watched, with M-Spec what they do on the side. I know a few people that help them on track. And I was like, we could do this. Maybe not to their skill level, but we could figure it out and progress to that point. And better you than me, because I get frustrated and I get overwhelmed in my head in comp. And I was like, I don't know if that's for me.
I get frustrated too, because I get judged out for...
Yeah, but that's
getting
local.
hit.
That's local stuff.
No, that was even in Kansas too.
Yeah, I know, and I had the proof you got hit, but I'm just saying that's kind of like on a bigger scale. I know there's a lot of like drama and stuff. I don't watch FD, but I know there's a lot of drama there too, of like what is actually judging and stuff. But I feel like, with the right program that we've built just to get Drift Militia to where it's at right now, we can build a bigger program on a bigger scale if it's behind one of us drivers. I didn't really want to drive at the time.
No.
And then you just started doing it. I don't think you committed to building a pro car until...
Probably once I bought the 2J. It was like, well...
Yeah.
Now it's got the power plant to do it, because the SR is not going to do it. Unless I go buy a VVL or spend gobs of money and... Still super impractical.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that this build is going, I should be able to do it for very inexpensive, for a very high quality build.
Well, like you said, boy math.
Boy math, yeah.
Boy math.
Buying, selling.
Yeah.
I bought the car, sold parts off of it, flipped cars, did this, build a S14, sell a S14, yada, yada, yada.
But that answers your question. When you're like, well, what are you building? I didn't even decide this until, you bought the 2J, and I think on my way home from work, I was driving back, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go turbo.
You didn't even say nothing to me. I just saw your post. And I'm like, this.
Yeah, I was like, I'm doing turbo. And I'm doing boy math too, because I have a swap kit. I was like, well, I can just make this a complete swap kit and sell it, because I have motor mounts and I have oil pan. Now I have long tube headers and all that too. I was like, I'll just go ahead and sell this. And I started running the math in my head, and I'm like, yeah, if you're going to make big power, I need to make equivalent big power.
Yeah, and maybe we don't ever do pro anything.
No,
but we just take these to cloud events and have a couple 800 horsepower cars.
And that's why I was kind of like rear mount radiator and everything. It's like, if we're gonna do it, do it.
Yeah.
So
so you might as well do quick change and dog box. And
I don't think
you might as well pull the LS out and put a JZ in.
No, I'm going LS. I'm an LS guy now. I've always wanted to go JZ, but I'm an LS guy. I thought
I was an LS guy. I was just lost.
Yeah, but you were lost.
Maybe one day you'll be found.
Maybe one day I'll see the light. I just got to drive a few of them. For me though,
I'm excited to feel the 2J torque versus the 1J torque, like extra half-liter displacement. Heard makes that for some torque pretty good.
I don't know if you'll feel that difference.
I hear it makes a lot more torque.
Well, you're making a 400 horsepower 1J versus an 800 horsepower 2J. Do you really know the difference?
We'll find out.
And that's where the quick change is I don't think I don't know enough about gear ratios. Right? You know, and that's kind of weird thing for drifting is because a lot of people are very technical. I know a lot of technical people in drifting.
Yeah, we're just out here winging it.
Yeah, we're just doing what we have. And I think that's the best part of us showing our personality to the community and doing community feedback because I mean, how many times, like we're doing pro cars, how many people that start pro cars are so invested in this decision means this?
Yeah.
You know, this ratio means my car is going to be built for this. So on this track, it's going to do this. And we're over here like,
I don't know.
hey, I'm going to mash the gas pedal because I got an LS and whatever happens, happens.
I'm just going to stay in the power band.
And I think our ignorance of that shows the community you don't have to be all in. And I know there's going to be people that are super competitive and yeah, I kind of struggled there. But they're so technical into it that they say, you know, you got to have a quick change because this track requires this gear ratio, which I don't disagree with them because I know how a technical thing, but you're also going to have a really good driver that has a really low budget that gets in with like a 350Z diff and figure out, okay, well, I got to have my footwork has to be here to keep up with this guy, or I got to put nitrous or up the boost or turn it down. I watched a short clip of Chelsea DeNova talking about how he's won some competitions when he figured out how he had to drive versus the way he wanted to drive. Like he had to tone down his driving to win events. And that's where I kind of look at quick change and stuff, and I don't understand it because I don't know. I'm not a technical person when it comes to drifting. I don't think I've ever sat down there and said, okay, well, I'm going to change this part and see how this part, or I'm going to mess with toe and see how this toe. I think that's more of a...
Just kind of make it work with what you got. And that's just in life too, though, I feel like.
I think, though, because we've tandem so much, and I'm not really tandem with randoms, like, on a competitive level, that I don't ever care to dive into how that works.
I want to do more of that just for the fun of, like, I know most of the time what you're going to do or how you're going to react. And kind of like, you said you want to build another LS car so it drives just like your Z.
Yeah.
You just know how it's going to react. I want to have like multiple variations. So
What makes you a better driver?
Yeah, it pushes me in the driving aspect. Is like, okay, this car's LS. It has all the torque. It does what it needs to do. And I just hit the gas, kick the clutch a couple times, and we're in there. Versus like the JZS14, you really had to keep up in the power band.
That was
and
wild,
the gear
yeah.
ratio was not right on that car with the CD and the... Nothing felt good. The
Yeah,
JZX feels awesome because it's kind of more so...
Well, you had R54 too. So I feel like your gearing...
R154, yeah.
I feel like your gearing was... Yeah, and that's another thing. That's the first time I've ever experienced gearing changes. Because I didn't drive your JZX, but I was in the car. I drove your S14. And that was weird because I was like, I have to shift to third. But third, there was a weird...
Like wasn't enough power.
Yeah, it was a weird thing. And I didn't know if that was a torque thing or running out of gears or something because I've never experienced that. And I think that's where the differentiating of you and me, because you want to learn those things. And I've always been like, okay, I know I'm not a great driver. I think I'm a good driver. I know I'm not a great driver, so I'm going to build every single car to my handicapped of, you know, I don't know about this, so I'm building it to a handicap. I'm going to go ahead and build something that's a very driver-friendly car. I know it's weird. You see some people, you know, they get upset or something like that if someone jumps in their car and drives better than them in their own car. I hope people can drive better than me in my own car because there's a lot of stuff I've never tested, like the gear ratio things. I was like, I don't really know what to do here, so I'm going to left front brake and ride the red limiter and let you door me in your own car type thing. So I think that you're going to, I don't know where we are, if there is a better driver between the two of us, but if you focus on the technical side, you're obviously going to be more in tune with the car than ever I would be.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really understand the technicalities either because I'm just like...
But you're pushing to learn
until somebody tells me like, hey, that's happening because of this. It's almost even like me trying to learn how to weld and stuff myself. I don't know why this is looking like crap until like I just keep messing with stuff and change my gas pressure or something, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that turned out pretty good. But then I go do the exact same thing, make my adjustments to what I thought would work, and then still have a different issue. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just going to...
Yeah, I'm going to keep going.
I'm
excited to learn welding just because that was like drifting, though. It's kind of the same thing. You have so many variables, whether it's your gas, whether it's your angle, whether it's your steering. You know, you have so much different ways to produce the same result. That's why a lot of people bash on, in a community bashing, is hydro use.
Yeah.
And I love my hydro.
Same thing with like, you don't need to start with an angle kit. It's like, why not start with the way it's going to be?
That's a weird thing. We can get into that. I am all for someone, I don't care if it's a rich dude goes out and buys a Formula Drift car. I am all for that. I think, you know, if it's going to increase your amount to have fun, and maybe it's harder for you to learn, and maybe it's you're learning to a handicap. I drive with a handicap, so
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
the crazy thing is, like, there's that argument. When I bought my Z, it had the little bolt-on GK Takes bolt-on angle kit. Not a lot of angle. Still was able to link the track and do what I needed.
yeah.
Then hopped into, you know, FDF on the car. Awesome, worked great. But now you can put me in a stock angle car, like the S15 for instance, and I feel like I could have took that to an event and slid. I mean, obviously it would have been narrow or wouldn't have had the angle, but I could have linked the track and kept up with people and done what I needed to do. So is it really a hindrance? Because like once you learn the principles of like, it's kind of like learning how to wheelie on a motorcycle. Once you find that balance point,
But
you're good.
I think that's open. We're both kind of just making it happen or make work with what we have. And a technical person's going to sit there and be like, well, you may have a handicap, and you know, if you can learn. Seat time. I don't think it matters. I don't discourage. I think that was a thing in the past. You know, when we first started getting into drifting, as 2011, 2012, you know, no one had angle kits. So if you had an angle kit, you know, people were like, this guy's going somewhere, right? Yeah. This is crazy how he can hold all this up. And it was like kind of like one of the things.
It was disheartening though. Like, cause I remember going to a couple of Strat events or Mineral Wells and seeing people with like full blown drift cars and like just warming their tires up, and then me out there, no angle, no hydro, no knowledge, and just like, I can't even like hold a line.
Yeah.
But you're seeing these other guys that have like their full toolbox full of good tools.
That's entering the thing.
And then you're coming in with like a drill, like I'm here to build.
I'm here to party. But I think it's cool that we've came from that level. You know, now we have angle kit cars. But I think that's like an old head type mentality is you need to start with a 200 horsepower car and work your way up to a 5. You shouldn't have an angle kit unless you've learned how to drift. I can tell you right now, you put me in an S chassis car with no angle kit, I'm going to struggle. I rely heavily on.
I don't think you would.
I would, because the fact of I'm so used to throwing angle. Like that's so part of my driving style that I almost rely on heavy angle to compensate with my hard driving style. Now, you look at an S chassis with cut knuckles is, I would say, equivalent, if not more than a 350Z with a bolt-on angle kit. Like an S chassis, you could throw so much harder with cut knuckles. Yeah. On non-cut knuckles, it's so narrow driving, it's weird for me to drive it. And I feel like if I were to redo this and I were to learn to drive narrow, I think I would just drive narrow all the time because it's
faster and just.
Yeah, to me, it's hard to drive narrow. Some people, it's easy to drive narrow. To me, I'm like, if I want to feel my rat kind of struggling, and then I'm like, okay, this is where I'm at. I don't know. I don't know if it makes that big of a difference or not. I feel like I would struggle in a low horsepower car. I mean, Julie and I were having this conversation about, you know, people that have money and build high horsepower cars, they never have a low horsepower car. Is it because it's not fun, or is it because it's harder to drive because you're used to all this power?
Define low horsepower. Like stock 350Z is probably not in that category.
No, like a Miata or
a KA car.
A KA car. I've seen people drive. That one guy when we were at Minnesota, he had a KA car and he was driving it. I can tell you right now, I could not get in that car and drive like him.
Yeah. And
maybe that's because of my lack of driving ability. I 100% would agree to that. But I couldn't do that. I mean, I've rely heavily on angle, heavily on power. I mean, I would drive an LS maybe if I built an SR car or something like that. But then again, I can jump in an SR car with angle and drive it. I've done it before. I love it. It's one of my favorite driving cars. It's just fun.
Yeah.
But I think anyone can jump in a
I
car.
hope I don't regret pulling the SR out of the S15.
No, because you can just keep the S14. You can keep the S14. I mean, it depends where we go. And if so, we'll just build another car. I want to build an RB20 car just because that's what I grew up driving. That'd be fun. But
I built my car I grew up driving.
with an Ellis in it.
No, I'm talking about the FD rotary. Same power range that my original FC made.
It's a lot of power. But even then, I don't think that was a crutch on you to drift. Like, if someone comes in with an 800 horsepower, that whole thing, if you can't drive a 200 horsepower car, you can't drive an 800 horsepower car. Yeah, I think you still can.
I don't know.
I feel like anything is learnable. Yeah, maybe you might be able to jump. If you give me a 1,000 horsepower car, the first lap, I'm going to struggle. Because I don't know how much power I got to learn the car.
Oh my God, this is so much fun. Why did I ever drive with 400 horsepower?
Probably, until I burned the first 30 sets of tires up in 2 laps. I'm like, that was crazy. I think everyone's different, though. So, I mean, it depends your mindset. I think that's why I think some people get mad when you see these new 13-year-old kids jumping and drifting and being competitive. I'm all for it. I don't have any animosity to someone that doesn't have a job and jumps into a car and can drive if their parents built them a car. I don't like, what is that? Why did that bother people? I don't know. When we went to Kansas, I mean, there's times where people didn't like the younger people driving because the locals been driving so much longer.
Yeah.
And then a kid comes in and wins competition. I don't care. I feel like people are just out there having fun. That's a community thing too. So
I mean, being able to drive at that age would be a
it'd be
dream.
rad.
Like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Like, I'm happy to be able to do this at 35 years old now. You know what I mean? So to being able to do it 20 years earlier, I would have probably never done half the crazy stuff I did. Probably wouldn't have got in any kind of trouble or done anything stupid if I could have
you got an outlet.
Yeah, had a real outlet.
We didn't. We had parking lots, streets. Not proud of
gravel
it.
parking lots,
Almost hitting stuff.
curbs,
Yeah,
ditches.
And again, that's another cool community thing is people, even with, I mean, we had our communities, but they were kind of close-knit forums that, you didn't really now. I mean, you have community hosting drift events and you have communities, I think that I want to host an event. I think that'd be cool.
I want to have a track. What do you mean?
Yeah, that too. If we had a track and we could host private, I would only want to host private events if we had a track and we had our own cars. I mean, we'll always have our own cars, but our own, like, people come out, fly in, we have this S13 coupe.
Yeah, like pick your, like.
Yeah, your buddies want to come in. Let's grow together. Let's make something happen. I mean, the Z, I call it the Z, I keep calling it Z. The S13 is such a solid platform for people to get into and drive for a community car because if they don't have to pay for tires, car's already built. Maybe the car's not as dialed, as technical as someone wants it to be. Like, the drift schools, the people that host them, they have a Z and they have pretty much the same mod on every one. But if we have cars that are...
Oh, you never driven a SR car? Here you go. You never drove a RB car? Here you go. Just have a variety of cars for people to hop in and get some.
And I think the community cars are kind of a weird topic because they've been done so wrong every time. Like, people have community cars and everyone gets stuck on the logistics, right? Well, I don't want to rent out my car or the rent out cars. We'll say, it's the idea of a community car.
B6 Mustang.
Yeah, and they're like, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And then right when they say, well, the first wreck, you're out your money.
Yeah.
Right? But I think that's one of the things, you have products that are introduced to, like, selling points and then they're done wrong. They're a failed project. Some other company comes in, they pick up the same project, they tweak it a little bit, becomes very successful. Community cars can be like that if you have the intention, or even rental cars. Rental cars are kind of hard, but if you develop relationships with those people, and like I say, if we build a track or we have a track, we host an event, we get to choose who steps foot in that car.
Yeah.
Whoever, and 9 times out of 10, I guarantee you, whoever supported us in the past, watched the podcast, comment on there, shared it, shared our Facebook, active fan on Facebook or something like that. They're not going to want to destroy one of our cars.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure there'll be people that are going to want to come and maybe y'all just start following us for that very reason.
Yeah.
To come to destroy our community cars. Well, cool. We'll make some film out of it. And
we'll restart and we'll keep doing. I think the community can be such an active part, and we can teach people how to drift. We taught drift school for a year. It was cool. I enjoyed it. I would love to do it a lot more if we had our own track.
Yeah.
If we rented out a track, we brought our own cars. Yes, maintaining a drift car can be expensive. There's no doubt about that. But if you do it right, then it doesn't have to be that expensive. I mean, drivetrain.
Like the more stock drivetrain you have, the less issues you're gonna have. Like the S13 is gonna be a stock VQ.
Yeah, I mean, even if you hurt the trans, I mean, you could still drive on it. I'm not saying like you're just completely shattering gear.
What's the chance of the first and second going bad anyways?
Yeah, I mean, in a drift track, that's really 90% of tracks we've been to. I mean, there's like Polecat, you're going to be in third and fourth, but I mean, US Air, there were some times I try to throw it in third just to catch up to you a little bit, but even then, first and second on a 354ing with a CDO whatever, it's pretty much dialed.
Yeah.
So I think we can do the community thing. And if you build that S14 to turn into a community thing and we have 2 community cars, I think that could work too. It's just the logistics.
And I mean,
behind that.
what do they say? Two's not a team, they're just tandem buddies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we need that third person anyways, right? So.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing. I don't know how I feel about that, the third person thing. As we grow, we'll see it as. But then again, like I was telling Julian earlier, I don't really care about the team thing anymore because the community took that to take shots at us for a while, right?
Yeah.
And it was the whole, you know.
They should be happy we didn't have a third because there wouldn't be any another.
Yeah.
What other team would there be?
It's crazy that was the kind of community shot is, you know, 2 is not a team, they're just driving buddies.
Yeah.
Right? Specifically because we're Drift Militia, we're a team, we advertise as a team, and then the shots were taken that way. And I like that the shots were taken that because, you know, hindsight's 2020. I look back at it now, and I look at it and like, okay, well, the community saw us as a negative thing, right? Try to take it down a little bit by saying, oh, you know, we're going to invite you to this thing, but we're going to let you know that 2 is not a team.
You have to have a third.
You have to have third. And then we look at it, we drive harder. Maybe they're right. Maybe 3 is a team. But what we're doing is
we drive harder, we travel further, we drive more.
Yeah, than most teams. And 3 may be a team, but what we're doing is bigger than just competition driving. What we're doing is bigger than local driving. What we're doing is bigger than team, you know, competitiveness of just drifting. We're doing is bigger than drifting.
What?
I mean, just when you look at it in the grand scheme, we're going to help out the community in a way that I don't think Oklahoma has been helped out before. Whether it's just impacting people, you know, whether it's not just giving them a car or doing giveaways, whether it's, you know, hosting events. I feel like we're gonna impact more than just Oklahoma, but I've personally helped out a lot of people with their builds and you know, walking them through when they have something wrong with their car. And something I continue want to do, but a lot of that is going to go unnoticed, right? Because if someone helps you out, I mean, there's numerous amounts of people I've walked through their builds and they've never gave us a shout out. Yeah. I think no matter what we do, it's going to be positive. You know, like the whole, I think we're bigger than drifting. I think we're bigger than teams. I think we're bigger than what most people are trying to do. You know, we don't really go to car shows. We don't have to hit all the drift events. What we're doing is showing a personal side that, like you said, we highlight everything and people see the negatives as not a highlight. And I've always highlighted a negative, you know, when we wreck an event and people are like, oh man, you guys can't drive. It was funny. I made a mistake. You know what I mean?
So funny.
There goes my door because Brandon drove on top of my car for the 30th 5 times.
This is your fender.
But I do believe what we're doing here is helping the community, and it's bigger than drifting because we're showing who we are and what we stand for. You know, we've been doing this for almost 20 years between, I mean, if you add us both up, it's a lot. But we've shown the progression. We haven't talked about the progression. We haven't talked about, I mean, what is it? You're a hero for so long until you become a villain. When you're in the same spot all the time and people don't know you, they just see your highlights. You know, they're going to make assumptions, right? And they're going to see that it's not attainable. But we give that personality that it is attainable. We're showing you guys how we've made it happen. And we want to interact with people to show them, you know, yeah, we may be set up this way, but someone else can do it the same setup completely different.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, if this is something you dream to do, follow along. Let us help you make it a reality. Because, I mean, it happened for you, right, Julian? Went from sim racing to traveling with us to now he's got a drift car. Yeah. And he can go out and drive the crap out of that car.
That doesn't run.
It will.
I'm sure John will get you squared away on
Yeah,
that.
got to get that car to the shop so we can bring yours in. But I mean, I truly believe that we are bigger than drifting, and it's a community feedback. I've said this once, I'll say it again. You know, we've helped out the community a ton. Whether it's seen or not is two different things, because I don't expect someone to give me a shout out when I help them on their car. I want them to get on the track and have fun.
Yeah.
So it's the viewpoint of it. You know, a lot of times when you help someone out, like I said, they're not going to give you a shout out. I don't care about that. I just want how can we help you guys? Whether it's a community car, whether it's explaining a certain part of our build, whether it's showing you that you don't have to be super technical to do anything in cars. You just have to go out there and put forth the effort and try and learn from trial and error like we did. Whether that's the good way to do it or not,
I don't know.
I don't know either.
We could have probably done it like more affordably without wrecking.
Yeah, but that's fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want to take it back. I'd do it again.
yeah, I mean,
I'm running out of RX-7 doors though.
that Z door, I don't understand how it keeps popping back, but it keeps popping back. Now my fender and that video where you hit my fender, I don't know if that's ever coming back.
Good thing is, Keystone, baby, $57 or whatever they are.
Yeah, I think the last
Just
time
paint and livery and all that.
that's expensive. But yeah, I mean the fenders, I mean it's a missile car, so I don't really care. We're gonna build nice cars, pro cars, and
And
keep
then there'll be
building cars.
missile cars too.
Yeah, and then it's a cycle. It's a never-ending cycle. But we're showing you guys that it's doable, and I want to further let you guys know who we are, to see that it is doable, to see that, you know, we can make it a possibility for you. I walk people through builds all the time, and I always say, you know, there's certain things you can't cut corners, but there's certain things that you can sacrifice not to cut corners. You don't have to get the most expensive coilovers on the market, get cheap coilovers, and the money is saved can go to an angle kit, can go to something else, or tires, yeah.
Fuel, travel.
Or you can get tires off your buddies. I mean, there's a million ways to do it. There's a million ways to drift. There's a million ways, you know, to be successful in just anything. And I think that our way of being successful is showing the community who we are and how we can do something like that.
And with that, we are the militia.